Hello, my name is Sarah, otherwise known as Yarnmugs on Instagram and Ravelry. Welcome to my podcast where I chat about my knitting, crochet and sewing, and also the books I've been reading. So I've really wanted to get on here and do a podcast because I've got lots and lots to share, and I'm currently doing daily vlogs through Vlogmas at the moment as well. So yeah, this is a little bit delayed, but I'm going to do it today because I really have got so many things I want to chat to you about. So first of all, I'll just tell you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my gingham dress, which is the Indigo Dress. I've shown this last time. I'm wearing my Funday cardigan, which I love. It's my favourite cardi. And I'm wearing the... Is it called the Yowza? The Yowza scarf by Susan B. Anderson. This is probably one of the first scarves I made, but again, I really love it. And it's in Travel Knitter yarn, who are sadly no longer dying. This is in Baby Camel. It is so soft. Oh, it's really cold. It's not really cold outside, but it's really cold in here. I'm in my conservatory as usual. It's 7 degrees. I've got my cup of tea. I've got a hot water bottle. I'm all about the green at the moment. Oh, that's lovely. Okay. Now, I haven't really got a plan. I'm just going to wade in and share what I've been making and what I'm thinking about. I think last time I showed you one sock that I'd finished in a DK weight yarn. That has now completely finished and is off to its new owner, and she's really happy with them, so that's nice. And the other things I had on the go were the Felix cardigan. Let me just have a sip of tea. Now I got this started because I was going to take it to the Lay Family Yarn Woolly retreat, which I did take it. And I think when I showed it to you last time, I can't remember if I had split for the sleeves, and I was talking about I'd only had 3 skeins of yarn, 2 of this and 1 of a kind of contrast. So I'm trying to make a cardigan out of 3 skeins of double knit yarn, and I was worried about whether that contrast would go, but I'm all right about it. It's not probably everyone's cup of tea, but again, it's nice just to make a cardigan in a DK weight yarn. I have made a few little mistakes. I think I might have shown them last time, but I'm all right with it. I think it looks okay. So yeah, I've done quite a bit. I've not worked on it since I came home, but I was working on it at the Lay Family Yarn, the retreat. So yeah, I've split for the sleeves and now I'm just working my way down. And what I'm doing is 2 rows of each and just carrying the yarn. So you don't ever have any ends. I'll show you the inside. I just have my yarns this side, one side. So I do a row of knit, a row of purl, and then I change to the other yarn. So it's a very neat, just held up the side. Yeah, what do you think? Is it a bit clashy? I think, like I say, the blue of it goes well with the, the turquoise on them flecks. I'm sure if it had all just been nice and flecky, that would have been lovely, but here we are. So I suppose at this point now, I've got to try and work out how long I go before I maybe start on some sleeves. There is still quite a lot of yarn here. I'm sure there's still about 90 grams because I think I used 1 whole skein to get to this point. So yeah, it's gone quite a long way. I don't mind how kind of short the sleeves are. I think I just need to maybe I just need to get the body done and get that to the length I want. Yeah, it's all right, isn't it? So I'm just going to keep that aside for now. I'm not working on that at the moment because I've got lots of other things I want to be working on through December. And this is in my lovely homemade bag, which I'm really happy with. It's literally just a sack, but I love it. It's a perfect, perfect sack for a bigger project. Now, last time I'd also shown you, I'm just going to show you again, but I haven't worked on it at all. I was working on a cowl for my dad, And I probably will continue with this, but I haven't been working on it since the last podcast. So I'm going to pop that away again in my lovely Eldenwood craft bag, all wintry. Okay, so they're the things I kind of wanted to touch on, but I haven't really been working on. What I've been working on mainly or only is when I went to the Lay Family Yarn retreat, Gayna, who I went with, was wearing her granny wrap crochet. It's like a triangle wrap, and she had used all of the yarns that she's ever got from her Lay Family Yarn retreats over the last few years. Oh, and it was just so beautiful. Oh, look at that bird there. Is it a oh, it's a magpie. Yeah, so I was really not tempted. I knew that I really, really wanted to make one of those. I love a crochet shawl and I love a triangle shawl. I'll talk more about the yarns from Lay Family Yarn in a bit, but what I really wanted to do is when I got home, I just went into my box of Stylecraft Special DK. I've got lots of scraps, bits and bobs, and I just thought I'm going to start an acrylic one. And it's been lovely. The thing I needed to get my head around was how to just be random and not try and make it a pattern or make it, you know, matchy. Because I think that's what looks so lovely about these kind of scrappy projects, that they just all blend together and look really lovely. So I started it when I came home, and that's all I've been working on. Oh, look at the size of him, he's massive. Did you see that magpie? So I'm going to show you. And again, this is, so I started off here and I just used up little bits of scrap. The only thing I tried to do was alternate a couple of colours with a bit of a neutral. So you might see here the yellow and the blue with a neutral, the two and a neutral. But then I ran out of neutral, so I couldn't do that anymore. Oh, I really love it. Look at it. I've sewn in nearly all the ends. I've just got the last few rows here that I just need to sew some ends in on. So once I'd kind of used up all the scraps, I then had some bigger balls that had been started. So I've been really lucky in that I've been able to get a whole round row completed, and that makes me feel quite happy as well. So it's a bit of a mixture at the top, but then it becomes complete rows most of the time. This is a DK weight yarn that I'm using, and it's from so it's the Granny Wrap pattern by Annaboos House, and it's a free pattern. And I think she uses DK, or it might even be a bit chunkier, but you can use any weight yarn because you're just creating a triangle and you just get as big as you want to get. Now, every time I try this on, it does feel a bit too chunky to wear, like how I would wear a scarf. I'll try and show you. But if you were cold, even though it's big, it just, yes, I don't really, well, it might be all right, like I say, that's fine, but just doesn't feel very drapey at the moment. I know when I wash it and tumble dry it, because you can tumble Stylecraft, it will be a bit drapier. But I think this is the ideal shawl, isn't it, to wear like that? Yeah, so I'm in love with it. I love it. I think I'm giving this to my mum for Christmas. But it's been such a happy project, and it's all I want to work on. So that then made me think. And the other thing I was going to say, I keep getting to a point thinking, right, I think I'm finished now. And then I just find another bit of yarn and think, no, let's do another row. So yeah, I don't really know how big to go, but I've really used up nearly all my acrylic yarn. I've just got the odd few individual balls that I didn't really want to crack open, like start a new ball. The whole point was to kind of use up stuff, and I am at that point. So yeah, that just gave me the feeling of in Vlogmas or through December, I just want to work on those kind of scrappy projects where yeah, you just get the enjoyment of using things up. So as an example, I've got this that I've had for a long time. This was a lovely bag, look. Yeah, Bumble Stitches. I don't even know if she's making bags now, but I remember, did I buy this or win it? I think I might have bought it. Yeah, it's lovely, really nice. So this blanket is all of my sock yarn, or sock weight yarn, 4-ply. I might have shown this ages ago. And it's now a complete square. And I've still got, not much, I have some little, I'll try and show you. Yeah, there's just a few, there's not much in there, but a few little balls, plus some bigger bits. Oh, I love that yarn. So I think, yeah, over December, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some more squares and add it to this. And yeah, that's what I want to do. I just want to make colourful, scrappy projects. It doesn't feel like I have to finish it, you know, just feels like you can just have the enjoyment of crocheting and using up your scraps. So that's another one. And another bit of acrylic yarn I found. I had quite a lot of white and I don't really use white. So I thought, I know, I'm going to just make a baby blanket. And my go-to baby blanket is the Dainty Diamond blanket by Ivy and Mabel. Now, I was making this in the evening and we just have lamps on in the evening, so not a big light. And what I thought was white wasn't. It was a cream. Let's turn it around. So you've seen these before because I've made quite a few. So that was a bit of a surprise one morning. It's like, oh, it's not white, it's cream. But I've still got all of this to use up. So I'm going to continue with that and I'll end up with a baby blanket. I think I tend to do about 40 rounds, 45 rounds maybe, and it gives a really good size baby blanket. So I'm just going to use all the white up and then I might even use a contrast for, you know, a few rounds of the edge. But that felt really nice, just to use up some yarn and have a baby blanket ready and waiting for the next baby that needs one. So yeah, I felt really not productive because it doesn't feel like I'm not completing things, but I am enjoying what I'm making and making use of what I've got, and I love that feeling. So that's that. And I think I've shown you this ages ago. This is a bit of an ugly blanket, but again, this was using up all my Stylecraft. I don't know if you remember this. I'd made some free kind of scrappy smaller squares and didn't really like them, but I ended up joining them together, and now I'm just making, this is a bit of a rectangle. Let's get it right. So it's quite a long rectangle now, and I'm just going all the way around the edge. And I am managing to get whole colours around a whole edge. I mean, this colour here, I don't know why I've got this. I would never use that. It looks quite red on screen, but it's really, really bright pink. But anyway, I think it looks all right, these kind of colours. And again, I suppose I'm trying to match it, but it doesn't, I'm not really. I'm just trying to use it up. Got this purple as well. So yeah, that's quite a decent size. And I haven't got much to add to that. I've got a random bit of black and speckly, another bit of red. Got this one that someone gifted this to me, but I'm going to add this into this blanket. It is cotton, but I don't mind mixing and matching. Yeah, so again, how lovely is that, just to sit of an evening and just be doing trebles, you know? It's so easy and it keeps you warm and it makes you feel happy when you're looking at it. So yeah, I don't know what the end result, who's going to have this, what I'm going to use it for, but it'll be a blanket. But it's quite a nice size. What do you think? Do you like doing things like that? Do you like, I know this, lots of people love, casting new things on, but I really get pleasure out of working on things and like I say, using up stuff. That's what I really, really love doing. So my little box, well, not a little box, it's a cupboard in our front room with a box in, was just full to the brim of Stylecraft, because I tend to buy a load from Wool Warehouse and sort of buy some extras, because I always think, I always need to use like a parchment colour or just a mixture of colours, as well as the colours I'm buying for a particular blanket. And then, like you say, you end up with loads. So yeah, I really want to use that up and put that into something useful. Yeah, it looks nice. Pleased with that. So yeah, that's my plan. Throughout December, I'm just going to work on crochet, scrappy projects. Oh, let me put that in here. Oh, no, not that one. Where's that? Oh yeah, it's this. I was just, the sock yarn blanket was, I used a 4mm hook, and I just do 4 rounds to make the square. But that's lovely, and I can't wait to get that out again. So they're all the things that I've been making. Let me tell you about the Lay Family Yarn Retreat. I won't go into great details because Gayna from Tales from Cuckoo Land has done a lovely vlog, and that really kind of captures what it was like. But it was my first time going, and it was just wonderful. If anyone gets a chance to go, please go. I was lucky enough to go with some friends and stay in an Airbnb, but I would have gone on my own, and there were lots of ladies there that had gone on their own. And once you're there, apart from having to stay somewhere on your own, but once you're at the retreat in the days, you're with a whole bunch of new friends, and it's so welcoming, and it was just amazing to be able to sit all day long and crochet or knit or do whatever craft you want to, and just be handed multiple cups of tea and cake all day long. At the end, I remember saying to my husband, I can't believe how tired I am from just sitting around crocheting and knitting and drinking tea and cake all day. But it was lovely. It was so nice. So while I was there, the theme of the retreat is that you get to dye some yarn, and Kelly and Nick are so welcoming and sharing of their skill. And I just had to take an inspirational photo with me, and I took a picture of my garden. Actually, it's like I think it was a picture that I had on my Vlogtober vlogs. So it's looking at green. I had some white flowers here, some purple flowers, and the sky was blue. So I just wanted a mixture of that, and it was such an enjoyable thing to do with other people, seeing their photos and watching their yarn come to life. Although it is a complete surprise, what you see in the tray of with your water and your yarn and the dye, you don't really know what it's going to turn into. And on the last day, on the Sunday, they hand them out, and it's such a lovely experience where everyone is so enthusiastic about everyone else's yarn. So Gayna has mentioned, if you've watched her vlog, that you get a sample of everybody else's yarn, and these are 10 gram minis. So this was everyone, I think there's 17, everyone's mini skein of their big skein. Aren't they lovely? So that is such a treat, especially when you're talking to people and you're seeing their yarns, thinking, oh wow, I can't believe I'm going to get a sample of yours. This one in particular, I remember her yarn was based on a really lovely photo, and she was saying afterwards, this looks like, oh God, my brain, Van Gogh's picture, starry, oh, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, my brain, I'm so sorry. I knew it before I started chatting about it, but isn't it lovely? Just those dark speckles And the yellow and the blue. Yeah, and I was really excited to see that yarn, thinking, oh, I'm going to have one of those. But my yarn, so I said to you it's about the blues, the greens, the white flowers and the purple flowers. And this is my yarn. Oh, look what it goes with what I'm wearing. And I'm over the moon with that. I can't believe I've done this. But with the help, obviously, of Nick teaching us how to do it. So I've got some speckles in there of purple. I think I had some blue, yeah, some little blue speckles as well. Oh, it's just so special. It's really plump. 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. Yeah, I'm really pleased. This is me all over. I love blue and I love green, but just to have those gentle speckles, it's quite gentle. Oh, look at that. So my thought was that, you know, I want to do that granny wrap, but in special yarn as well. And I thought, oh, I've lost my train of thought again, so sorry. Yeah, I thought I wanted to use these and use this. So whether I, a bit like my acrylic one, use this as my kind of neutral in-betweeny colour, or just add it in there at some point. Because it will all go, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to match. As you can see from, you know, from this one, it doesn't have to match, but it ends up looking lovely. Now, I was also lucky enough to be, when we were at the Airbnb, some people bought their minis they wanted to get rid of, and I hadn't taken anything to do any swaps because I haven't really got lots of minis. But anyway, I was gifted these, so I'm going to add that to it. And this is, yeah, I think that it is 4-ply as well. Again, when you see, it will be fine. It doesn't even have to literally match. But what I found when I got home is I have got this bag. This is my lovely Betsy Makes cat bag. I've got loads of Betsy Makes bags. So in here are minis. And I think, I don't tend to buy minis, but I must have had years ago, well, just every now and again you get some. I've got a really old advent calendar. This advent calendar was from Nora George. That was quite a few years ago. And I remember having that calendar and not really knowing what to do with minis. So I've got lots of those. And then every now and again, you know, you buy yarn and then they give you a free skein of yarn. So I have got some minis. Yeah, so I've got minis, I've got these, I've got my retreat, I've got the ones I made. I've also got these from Beaches and Birdsong. Now, a couple of years ago, I remember belonging to a club, and I've never used them. And they're quite neutral, quite pale. And I think at the time, I remember thinking, I was a little bit disappointed, thinking, oh, I don't really know what to do with them. But now I'm thinking these would be perfect neutrals to go into this granny wrap. So yeah, potentially, look, so you can see how that all looks lovely together, doesn't it? So that's my plan. Now, Gayna, we weighed hers, and I think hers weighed about 480 grams. And then I watched Ali the other day, and she made one several years ago, and hers was over 600 grams. So I might weigh all the yarn actually and see how much I've got, and then yeah, I'm really looking forward to making a start on that. Yeah, you can tell how excited I am, can't you? I can't wait. And I would encourage anyone else, if you've got, you know, whatever, you could do it all in one colour if you want, but it's just such a lovely make. I think because I've made loads of blankets, making this in a triangle, it's like half a blanket. So it feels like you've finished a round, you know, fairly quickly. And that's really exciting. It's just lovely. And we all love colour and, you know, get the enjoyment out of what the yarn feels like and looks like. So yeah, having this mixture of all different bits and bobs that's going to be a lovely, lovely project to work on. Oh, I'm really excited. Can't wait for that. So that's, future or maybe December projects. The other thing I was going to make in December, I say on my vlogs, I'm quite low-key at Christmas. We're not really, don't make a big fuss at Christmas, so we don't tend to buy presents for family, but I often make my mum and dad something. And last year for myself, I made this hot water bottle cover. I just made the pattern up myself. I was really, really pleased with it. And my mum and dad, after I'd made it, they kept saying, oh, can we have one? And I just never got round to doing it this year. And then they came round yesterday for my husband's birthday, and I just said, right, come and have a look in my yarn drawer, and I'd like you to pick a skein of yarn and I'll make you a hot water bottle cover. So my dad picked this one. Now this is the last skein of yarn that I bought from Travel Knitter, who is no longer dying. And it's a DK, 100% merino, and it's called Adventure. So this is not available, and it feels lovely to be able to use it. Now this yarn I think is probably Aran weight, is thicker, but I think having merino and a bit, even though it's DK, it will still grow nicely, and you'll still be able to fill the hot water bottle through it. So that's going to be for my dad. And my mum picked this one, and this was from Beehive yarns last year when I did her Enchanted yarn club. It's her September, and again this is in DK. It's lovely, isn't it? So I'm really excited to be able to make my mum and dad a hot water bottle cover. It's not really a Christmas present, because if it's not ready I'll give it to them when it is ready, but I'll be also working on that. And I remember when I was making this, it was a really simple make. It is like a big sock with some decreases here and increases and then decreases and then rib. And I made a little buttonhole. I do have to shave this every now and again, but this is quite cheap yarn. It was, I think it's a mix of acrylic and wool, but it's very old, but it's perfect for me. It's lovely. But to make it in special yarn, that's going to be really nice, really enjoyable. Lovely. Oh, I feel so happy. I'm so glad that I've done this podcast, shared all the bits and bobs, and now through December I'm just going to be making lovely things. And I think, like you say, I'll focus on my cardigan in the new year, but if I get around to doing it I will, but if not, I'm just going to really enjoy easy crochet through December. Okay, sip of tea. Okay. I'll just chat a bit about books, but I haven't got any books to show you because they've been passed on. But I'll just let you know what I've read so far. I think, let me just check where I'd got to. I don't know if I'd said to you before that I am now listening to books through Audible, and I listen to them on my car journeys. A lot of my work, I'm driving for like half hour at a time, so I really get to listen and get a good amount of reading done that way. So that's been good. So since I've had Audible, I've listened to Throne by Sarah Cox. I love that story. It's a very simple story about a community and a local pottery class. So I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed Sarah's voice, listening to her recreate the characters, and it was a very simple story, but I really enjoyed it. It's my first Audible book. That was really enjoyable. I then listened to The Exotic Marigold Hotel, but I didn't enjoy that as much. It was okay, but I did get a little bit bored. And that has been a film years ago, so that's an older book. I have read, I can't pronounce her name, I think her name is Deborah Mogak or Mogar. So I've read another book of hers called The Carer, and that was amazing. But this Exotic Marigold Hotel, I didn't enjoy it as much. And it could possibly be, listening to Audible, the narrator can really grate on me. And if you don't really like the narrator, that can sort of put you off a little bit. If I was reading it myself, it might have been different. So it's interesting, isn't it? What do you think when you listen to books or when you read books? And then another Audible I've listened to recently was called A Man Called Yowza, and that has been a film recently with Tom Hanks, but he's not called Yowza, he's called something else. And Yowza is spelled O-V-E. Yeah, I love that story. It's really, really lovely. Didn't really like the narrator at times, but I love the story. And Yowza, the main character, really reminded me of my husband. Yeah, it was really, really good story. But books-wise, oh no, let me just tell you about the Audibles. On my way to the Lay Family Yarn retreat, it took me about 3 hours to drive there. I listened to a lovely book that Ali from Little Drops of Wonderful recommended, and it's called Life Saving for Beginners by Josie Lloyd. Oh, that was a lovely story about women, friendship. It was really had diverse characters in it, which I loved. I loved the narrator. I loved her accents that she did on all the characters. That was really lovely. And it's about a group of women who do cold water swimming, but just their relationships and personal lives. Oh, it was really lovely. I'd really recommend that. And I imagine if you read it yourself as well, it'd be lovely, but listening to it was really good. I'm currently listening to another one which I'm really not enjoying, but I'll leave that till I've finished it and tell you about that afterwards. So the books that I have read, my mum lent me, but I had to give them back because they were her friends and she really wanted to keep them. And they were the sequels to The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry. And I've mentioned that before. So that's a beautiful book about a man that walks across the whole country to see an old friend who is dying in a hospice. But that is a really beautiful story. So the follow-up for those books is The Love Song of Queenie Hennessy, and Queenie is the lady who is in the hospice. And the other book I read was Maureen Fry and The Angel of the North, and Maureen is Harold's wife. So yeah, they were lovely books, getting a different angle on the other characters in the original book. Yeah, so the Queenie book, it was beautiful. It was, touching and sad at times. I was a little bit disappointed in the ending. I chatted to my mum a lot because she had read it, and we sort of discussed our thoughts and feelings about it. But it was a beautiful story. And the only thing with Maureen, the Maureen book, is it's a very thin book, so it's only just over 100 pages. So it's a really short book, but it just feels like you have a deeper understanding of all those characters. So that was nice. And currently I'm reading a book. We're doing a bit of a read along with other knitty friends, and it's called Murder on the Christmas Express, but I've shown that in my Vlogmas, so I won't talk about that until I've finished it. So sorry I haven't got anything to show you, physical books, but I put everything in the description box for those that use that, with all the links to patterns and yarn and things like that. And often I will put the links to the books I'm reading. So that's all the books, that's all the yarn, all the patterns and all the things I'm working on. Oh, one more thing. While I was at the retreat, I had to treat myself to some of their yarn. I'd never used Nick and Kelly's yarn before, and the place where you go for the retreat, that's where their shop is. It's where they dye their yarn, as well as their kind of social gathering space. So it's really amazing. So we went in her shop, and this is what I bought. It's really nice. I don't know if you all feel like this, if you go on a trip, a shopping trip or a holiday trip, you want to buy things that remind you of that place. And these were the yarns I bought. And one of them is called Courtyard. And where the retreat is, it's in a courtyard with loads of other shops, or not lots, but some shops. It's just such a lovely environment. So I really loved that. I like these really pretty colours. Just with some light speckling, but I've got it to go with. I thought I might make a shawl with all three. This one is called Ironbridge, and that's where it is, where the retreat is in the UK, Ironbridge. And that's just a bit of a deeper version of this one. And the last one was called Dark Night. And I bought this because someone else on my table on one of the days had this balled up like this, and it was such a beautiful, rich colour. And it is tonal, but in fact it looks a bit light on there. It is darker. Yeah, almost like an indigo. It's lovely, and I just thought yeah, that looks lovely together. So I think I'm going to make a nice triangular, I do love a triangle shawl, or I'll check something else out, but I do really want to make a shawl out of this whole 3. Lovely, aren't they? So that's it, 35 minutes, lovely, perfect. So I'm going to get back on with my day, filming my Vlogmas. Feel free to watch if you fancy. And if not, I'll see you next year. Hope everyone is okay. It's been a really funny old weather here in the UK. It's been frosty, freezing, then soaking wet and raining. We've had loads of floods throughout the country, lots of heavy snow further up the country. Yeah, it's been really difficult for some people. So hope everyone is all right. Stay safe. And see you all soon. Bye.